Howdy! Welcome to Making Sales Social. Brent and I are here with you live today. Bob is off for the time being. Brent, how are you today?
I am so good and I'm so excited because our book got #1 new release on Amazon. So that was really cool.
Which is awesome. Yeah, you talk about a pleasant way to start a Monday morning. S-
Absolutely.
So, today we're going to talk about uh, how AI prompt writing levels the playing field for business owners and what a powerful tool it is in order to do that. So let us go ahead and jump right in. First, we'll be talking about cost effective strategies, just how prompt writing helps you in terms of being cost effective and saving you money. So, Brent, any ideas on that one?
Yeah,
That
absolutely. So there's so many directions we can go in with the cost
yeah.
savings, right? So we could do cost savings from what it costs us to develop content to cost savings on having AI help us with our budget. You can have AI evaluate your credit card and bank statements to see what you're paying, if you're double paying. So I did this and realized I had two Hulu accounts and did not realize it. So
uh,
simply by uploading my credit card statement, and I said, kind of break down by category, and I saw I'm getting Netflix charge, Max charge, and two Hulu. So I was able to go figure out which one to cancel. So that's a very small way for cost savings. A larger way for cost savings, really, you could go in and say, here's, my overhead expenses. Here's what I need. These are the essentials. Ask AI to act as your bookkeeper and to go through everything and find out where might you be overpaid. Where are some opportunities that you might be able to save money? You are going to be shocked at how AI can truly help you with that. Like anything you could send to any assistant for number crunching. And I'll tell you, Claude is really good at number crunching, by the way. And it will give you
mhm.
great spreadsheets. You could do it in ChatGPT. You could do it in Ask SSL. But from my experience when it comes to like Excel spreadsheets and number crunching, Claude does a really good job of that as well. There are other things that you could do. So in Ask SSL, we create avatars. So you can teach an avatar to be a like world-class CPA, tax efficient, and really start to train it on maybe your state tax laws. You can upload content. You can do this in a GPT as well. Like if you wanted to train a GPT in being this amazing tax efficient advisor. Now, what I will say, without, I do not in any way want to um, let you think that this takes place of that bookkeeper or the CPA. Do
Mhm.
not file your taxes based on what ChatGPT says,
Yes.
right? But it can really help you in that cost saving realm. It can also take over jobs that you are currently paying for. And there are, whether it's content producing or your email or image creation, like there is a lot that AI can do now for free or for very low cost, that you might have been paying agencies for. And even agencies, you can go back if you've got a great agency that you love, go back and find out like what, based on AI, is there more that you can get for your money? I know the agencies
Mhm.
are probably like, stop talking about this. We work with many of them, but there's so much more they may be able to give you for the same investment. Stan, what do you
Yeah,
think about the saving money place?
Yeah, exactly. Anyone providing services these days is in the process of rethinking their pricing. And as you said, for the same price, now we can get more because agencies, for example, can definitely produce more using AI. And of course, they should be using it to increase their productivity.
Yes.
Yes. So the next one is around time efficiency. And all of us have run into situations like the blank paper syndrome, blank page syndrome. You're trying to think of something to write and just it is not coming. So it could be as simple as that, or you read a great LinkedIn post and you say, "Oh, I want to comment on this, but I'm not sure which aspect of the post to comment on." AI can help with that.
Yeah.
So, and so I've used it for just give me ideas for how to start a post, to how to start an article, or I read this great post, but I'm not quite sure what to comment on it. Been able to just copy the post, ask SSL, hey, give me some ideas as far as what to respond so I add value to the conversation. So, Bryn, any ways that AI has helped you with
Oh,
time efficiency?
this might be my favorite. I don't know. I might say it a few times, but I'm just going to ramble through some of them. Number one, email sorting. Now, if we use Google email, Gmail, and I can go through in Gemini and say, I would like to see all the emails from Stan. I'd like to see all the emails that require my attention. Like it's crazy. Now, the other piece that is it's not really AI, but I'm going to throw it in is the ability for the calendar link and the calendar sync where it's reading your calendar in real time. It can also help with data entry, and even our invoice processing has significantly shifted based on AI. We have our proposals that now I can just fill in the blanks and it customizes our proposals in like 10 minutes instead of 2 hours. And we use Sybil, which is our note taking platform. And Sybil, we can go into Sybil and say, what are the next steps from this call? And I can grab that information, put that into AI, and get a proposal based on what the conversation covered. Amazing. Let me throw out a few more. It accelerates research and information gathering. And I'm going to say research from what's going on in the industry. Now, you may say, I know my industry, but what's going on in your client's industry? What's happening? If you're going to get on a call with a prospect, what's happening in their industry? Also, pre-call planning. You can download a LinkedIn profile or link a LinkedIn profile and ask for a pre-call planning report. And in 5 minutes, you can review what would have taken you hours before. You can also, very exciting with pre-call planning, is if you've got discovery questions that you want to cover and you've created a prompt around this, right, about your discovery questions and kind of what you're leading toward your solution and the challenges that you help them overcome, you can then enter those discovery questions after you've done the pre-call planning, and it can customize that pre-call planning report based on what they do, the industry you just, the challenges in the industry that you just researched, and it can now link your discovery questions specifically to their industry and specifically to their role inside of their company. Now, we teach all of this using the Crispy prompt framework. So I'm just going to share. If this is something that you're interested in really honing in, our book is available right now on Amazon. If you go to promptwritingmadeeasy.com. Stan, I'm so excited. We hit a #1 new release, as we mentioned in the beginning of this, for the book, and we're very, very excited. I'm trying to think now, I kind of am ranting, but, obviously it's going to save us time with content creation. It may even help us in our decision making, making
Mhm.
faster decisions, and we can personalize at scale. So I'm sure
Yeah.
there's hundreds more, but that's where I'm sticking to.
Yes, we'll be talking about tailored solutions in just a minute. Another one is access to expertise, because these models were trained on pretty much the entire internet. So anytime you think, I wish I could ask a CPA a certain question, or an engineer, or whatever the case may be, think of AI as a resource. Now, again, not a total replacement, but at least enough to get you started with information that you would have had either a great deal of difficulty, if not being impossible for you to find on your own. So you can write prompts to basically say, act as a CPA with 20 years of experience. Um, I need help with this particular tax situation. I'm serving multiple states. How do I deal with this? You can, one thing about these models is we all know that they hallucinate. So we always say, double check it, always keep a human in the loop. One easy way to double check models, though, is to put the same prompt into multiple models. If they come back with the same result, you can be pretty sure that you can be confident about it, because the models are not going to hallucinate the same way. That's not how generative AI works. So, Bryn, any thoughts on just access to expertise that these models give you?
Oh, yes, I have again so many. So the first one is kind of that role playing opportunity. Now,
Yeah.
I like getting on AI on my mobile. If you're using whatever LLM you're using, there's likely the ability to have conversations back and forth. We have Ask SSL, which is all text right now. So sometimes I'll jump right into ChatGPT to have a conversation. And then once I get the information I need, I will take that information and stick it into Ask SSL to create all of our custom content. But the role play is amazing, right? So sometimes I'll go in and, like, I'll say, act as, let's say, Jeb Blunt. I am struggling to overcome a price objection. Talk me through it. Now, this is not to replace Jeb. You need Jeb, and he has an Ask Jeb question. So I'd go in and take some of that opportunity in some of his webinars and live streams is Ask Jeb. But based on his books like Fanatical Prospecting, and that he has an objection handling book, right? You can get some ideas around how he might handle some of that. You may just go generic and say, act like a top sales trainer. Here is my situation. What are some of the things that you could do, and role play with me, and then give me some feedback on what I can do better.
Yeah.
So that expert can also be your mentor and your coach, which is amazing. So although I have full access to Liz Hyman because she's one of my closest friends, I had a sales process question. And I hopped into Ask SSL and I said, act like Liz Hyman and give me the top um, top of the funnel advice you would give me, from a sales process perspective based on Liz Hyman. And it was amazing. So I'm about to send it to her and confirm how accurate it is. But she is probably one of the world's top sales process people, right? And so if I can use a little Ask SSL to get a little bit of her thoughts, it's kind of cool. Or any LLM, to use AI to do that. So I think that that expertise is huge there. I also will prepare for real conversations. So if I know that I'm coming into a conversation with a client, again, this is a combination of the research I did, but I'll say role play with me. Now you know all this. Here are the discovery questions. Tell me some objections I will likely hear. And maybe if I have objections that I've heard before, I will put that in. Now, I will sometimes say, act as Bryn Tillman. How would she respond? I'm like, oh my gosh, I said that years ago. I'm going to grab that again. That was good. It's like we talk so much, we forget some stuff. So, right. So using AI to do this will level the playing field in so many ways, right? Like you have access to ideas and thoughts that you may not have had in any other way. So I really love leveraging even like the expertise before, during taking those live transcripts will help you to capture like all the next steps, and after summarizing those notes, generating the follow-ups. Sometimes I will catch something in a meeting that I did not catch it live, but my AI captures it. And so that has been just so exceptional and fun. So that's I mean, there's probably a million more, but I know we have a bigger list to keep going through.
Yes, and a lot of these do kind of overlap. We're going to talk a little bit about how AI can help you tailor solutions, answers, communications to very specific personas and uncover information about people that you would have spent a lot of time trying to find out or would never have been able to find out. So AI can help present very tailored solutions. Brent also mentioned role play. And one of the things that you can ask AI to do, particularly for those of you who are working with buying committees made up of people in different roles, ask the AI when you're role playing, hey, assume the role of the CFO, assume the role of the CIO, assume the role of someone who's actually using the product, a user, and give me their objections and their concerns. So you can use it in so many different ways. I've heard of people using it as a board of directors member. I need someone with this specific expertise. You can't get the person because you don't know them, but you can describe what you need and have AI fill in.
Oh, Stan, I love that. So part of it, I'm gonna like riff on this because that's brilliant. And I'm not doing this. So now I'm gonna start doing this. So it's you've got to figure out who is your buying committee by role, by challenge, right? So is it the challenger customer tells us there's 6.8 decision makers in every deal. It's probably more than that now, right? So I love this. So really build out your buying committee as much as you can. So that's why we love avatars. So like we could create an avatar of a buying committee. I think that really understanding how to use avatars is huge. So maybe you're selling into a manufacturing company and there's a buying committee inside of that manufacturing company. You want to teach AI everything you know about what they care about, right? And you can continue to teach an avatar, right? An avatar, this is like, you can continue, like if you come up with new content. Now, here's the other thing. Let's say you have a particular client where there's a big deal happening. You can now go back to all the transcripts, right? Like almost everyone has an AI note taker now. If you're not recording it in Zoom, your AI, maybe sometimes there's more AI note takers than people in meetings today, right? So we can now take that transcript, and this is what I do in Ask SSL. So I will take a transcript and keep adding a transcript to that client avatar. So I have an avatar that's built out not just based on their industry or the general rules, but now every conversation that I'm having with them, I'm adding the transcripts of all of those conversations into that AI. So it's continually learning. And I don't even remember what your original question was around this.
Yeah, just around tailored solutions and how, and
Yeah,
that's
so
exactly
now,
what you're talking about with the avatar.
good, I'm so glad I'm on track because sometimes, I'm kind of like shiny object squirrel kind of lady. But now I've continued to build this, and this is what AI allows us to do because we're not going to remember all those details. We're not going to remember every conversation and every objection all the time. But now, before the next call, we now have continued to build out that avatar, that AI personality that is maybe even specific to that client. And when we put in an objection, it is reading from all the other conversations. So maybe we've overcome that objections before that we forgot. Or, so as we're using this for like customizing solutions, as Stan mentioned, this is like why I kind of went on this tangent based on Stan's brilliance here. Brilliant, which is, ultimately we need to bring all for especially for one specific client, all of those decision makers together. And AI is a powerful way to do that. So based on whatever solution we are solving for them or whatever challenge they have, we can easily go to AI and say, align all of these decision makers, all of the things that have been said to our solution based on what they said their need
So
was.
it's-
Oh my gosh, how fun is that? I'm going to spend some more time on this because I love that.
Yes, and the one of the many wonderful things about AI is if you're thinking, I'm not quite sure all of the people who are on the buying committee, because I think LinkedIn's latest research says that they're up to 12 to 20 members in the average buying committee in B2B these days, which is insane. One thing you can do if you're not sure is you can ask an LLM for this type of company, this type of industry, who are the members of a typical buying committee? What are their titles and what are their concerns? So if you don't know, don't hesitate to ask AI. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to? I just want to. I see Will has a question, which is a great question. How much security for information should we keep in mind when writing prompts? What is a good workaround? So, security is a big deal. And if you're an employee of a company, you have to make sure that you are following their um, the employee handbook, right? What are their AI securities? I will say there are times where I will go into temporary mode. So in a chat GPT, you can go into temporary mode where it does not remember what you put in. I'm still going to say it's not 100% because
Mhm.
we can't. But in temporary mode, not only does it not remember, once you close it out, you can never get it back. So you could go in and you could put in a conversation and say, please genericize this, take out company names and whatever it might be, right? You could do that. Copilot, if your company is allowing AI, is they're probably using Copilot, and there are some private security measures around Copilot. But what I would say before you put it in is take that transcript, put it into a Word document, and go through it and make sure that there is nothing in that transcript that you're uploading to AI that could get you into trouble if it were public. So that is how, if you are in a role where compliance is really important in medical, in financial, just I would copy that transcript into a Word doc and edit that before you upload it. I don't know. Do you have
Yeah.
anything you'd want to add to that?
That is pretty thorough. The key is each company needs to develop their own AI guidelines and policies so
Mhm.
that each individual user doesn't have to be making those decisions themselves. If
Right.
you, as Bryn mentioned, if you're using Microsoft Office or Google Workspace, they already have access to all your data,
Mhm.
and so it should be secure because you're already depending on their security apparatus. And it's when you go outside and you say, well, I want to run this in Claude or whatever, that
Mhm.
you need to be doubly careful. So if you don't want it released to the public, don't put it in the models right now. Um, unless your security team says, okay, this is being hosted internally, it's on our own servers, you can do anything you want, and they will let you know that, long story
And
short.
it's
So
on
great
them.
question. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm going to tell you, I don't think anything is private. I mean, I hate to say this, but like I'm in a conversation with my daughter about something on Amazon, and I get home and it's like suggested to me. Everybody is hearing everything. It's just sort of the world we live in. So I'm not saying don't be secure based on that, but I would never expect that everything is completely secure.
yeah.
It's just sort of the way it is. So do your best.
Yep, that's the world we live in. Good
It
deal.
is.
And the last one in terms of the five is just creativity and it helping us just think in different ways. There's always this debate about whether AI is truly creative. And in truth, I think that kind of misses the point. As long as it helps us think in new ways, it can be valuable as long as it helps us to think about things we would not have previously thought of without interacting with AI. It's going to help us. So for me, it has definitely helped with creativity because AI will always come up with questions um, I would not have thought of. Even if you
Mhm.
ask it something and it brings you back five things where you say, oh, I knew that, it may show you two things where you say, oh, this is gold because I never would have thought of that. And that can make all the difference.
So I love that. And that kind of falls into our crispy framework, right? So uh, the most important thing, and I'll quickly go through, but the most important thing that we believe in the crispy framework is we have stopped asking AI to do the work for us. And we've started asking AI to interview us, right? So in the crispy framework, from a content ideas, we would go first. Crispy is, well, it's context, role, inspiration, scope, prohibitions, you. Okay. So C, context. I would like to create a LinkedIn post based on um, top AI security measures that a company should take when opening up AI to their employees. So that's my context. Role. You are a top compliance officer in a financial institution or in a medical institution who is hired to gather my insights and ensure that they stay compliant based on our compliance regulations. Okay, that's so we have context, role, inspiration, scope. I would like you to create this post in 2,000 characters or less, and make sure um, you keep it within the voice of my voice, whatever that voice is, professional, whatever that scope is. I want it to be professional, all that. Prohibitions. Make sure that 100% of what you provide meets our AI compliance regulations, and then paste it. Here's the regulations, right? This is what my company is saying we need to do. And then you interview me to get my perspective, one question at a time. And so that's where we now take this crispy, that's what our whole book is on. If you're interested, it's promptwritingmadeeasy.com. You could get our book, which I'm going to say one more time. We hit #1 new release, which I'm very, very excited about. Promptwritingmadeeasy.com. And we teach you how to leverage, and this is LLM agnostic,
Mhm.
right? What we've done now, we use Ask SSL. That's our tool that we use because we love the power of segregating out um, uh, avatars, right? Different clients, different perspectives. We love the ability to save all our GPTs and have them come up quickly. But everything in this book, in the Prompt Writing Made Easy, using the crispy framework to leverage AI authentically, can be used in any LLM.
Yeah. Yep.
Anything you want to add to that,
I
Stan?
think that is awesome. The secret sauce, and we can talk about it since it's in the book, is having AI interview you. When you brought us that idea, Brent, I said, "Oh, that is it. That's magic." So it's a combination of having it interview you and the information that you provide it in the form of uploads to your avatar. So those two things are what allow the content to be produced in your voice.
That's awesome. I had so much fun with you, Stan.
Yes, thank you. So to wrap up, I hope everyone enjoyed this. If you'd like to see other podcasts from us, go ahead and visit socialsaleslink.com/podcasts, because we produce this one that you're on right now, as well as an interview series with leaders in business, sales, AI, and other areas. So, Bryn, this has been wonderful for everyone, our listeners. When you're out and about, don't forget to make your sales social.
Social. Bye, my friend. Have a great